Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Track Extra. If you're in the security industry and looking for ways to improve your guard management, retain more customers, win more contracts, and give your business the upper hand against your competitors, then you've come to the right place. It's our goal, passion, and purpose to provide you with amazing tools and resources to help grow and improve your security company. So be sure to visit us at silvertracksoftware.com/extra for articles based on each episode and tons of free resources. Here are your hosts, Chris Anderson and Johnny Page.
What's up, Silvertrack Nation? Johnny Page here and Chris Anderson on episode number 70 of the Silvertrack Extra, where we're going to talk about overcoming the fear of growing your business. And before we do that, Chris, can you believe we're on episode number 70? It seems like just a few weeks ago that we kicked this thing off.
No, that's a great number because I feel 70. I really do.
Right.
I feel 70. Yeah. Killing my...
Imagine if you were still trying to round up security officers and collect paychecks.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What a tough business, guys. So proud of our listeners, man, for staying, running the gauntlet.
Yeah, and doing a great job. You guys are doing awesome. It was really fun. Of course, it's been a couple weeks now, but it was really a blast meeting all of you at both the ASIS show and then the Calsaga show. Really a good time. We enjoyed seeing a lot of you out there. But let's jump into this, Chris. So something that comes up a few times in conversation, and we can sort of feel a hesitation with the owner or the operations manager on the other end of the phone. In the industry, there can sometimes be a fear of growing the business and going to the next level. Chris, can you help give a little insight into that? Of course, that's never something that I've personally experienced. I've certainly talked to several individuals where it seemed like that was the case, but I've never personally experienced this. So can you just give a little insight and drive home what we're really talking about here, why there would be a fear of growing a business?
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think there's actually a fear of growing the business. That's everybody's goal as an entrepreneur, to grow this business, right? I think what the problem is when we get started in this business, especially as a new operator, a lot of us, that got into business weren't college graduates with a master's degree, right, in business. They were ex-police officers or even maybe security officers that worked for another company for a long time that jumped in and wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So you're out there doing anything you can. There's more money. Always it comes to play. I always tell people you got to have 3 times the amount before you get started. So whatever you think is going to take you to run your business, double it and you'll probably be safe. So we're out there. Let me get to the point. You're out there trying to work your business and get it sold. So you're working the car yourself, or you're working the standing account to just kind of get some revenue in. And what happens is, as you start to grow your business, you're going to need people. And then as you're growing your business, you're going to find out there's a lot of talents that you either do or you don't have. So as a business owner, an entrepreneur, you have to be smart enough to realize that, if I don't have that skill set, I need to go find it. You can't have an ego in this business, because if you do, you kill yourself. So a lot of these guys get out there, they get their business rolling. They either don't have the talent to help them, or they don't reach out for it. And then on top of that, if they get to a point where they can start getting a paycheck and get out of the field, they get comfortable. Right, because they've worked so hard and they've beat themselves up for such a long time. They go, wow, now I'm starting to make pretty good money. And what they want to do is just stabilize. And then what happens is they're not just stabilizing for the week. A week turns into 6 months. 6 months turns to a year. And then they find themselves kind of like either losing contracts or not staying connected with what's really happening out in the real world of security, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's kind of the direction you were going with it.
Yeah. I think when we talk about this, there's really 3 main fears that I hear pop up. And maybe they're not saying, hey, I'm scared of growing my business, but there are 3 hesitations or barriers that are keeping companies from going to the next level, no matter whether you're a startup just getting started or a business that's been around for 10 years and wondering what do we do next. I think first off, the first fear I think that comes up a lot of times is not knowing really where to start. Like, what do I need to do differently to go to the next level? And so I think if we talk about this, first off, it's okay to have that fear. That's very common. right? It's in business. No one ever knows the right answer. You're not going to be able to go pay some high dollar consultant that comes in with a crystal ball to tell you, hey, what's the next move? No one really knows. That's what makes business so beautiful, right? It's the insolvable problem, right? There's growth doesn't solve a problem, it just presents new ones. And the stage that you're at right now, no one can tell you what it would take to get to the next level. People can make recommendations. Chris and I can make recommendations, but no one can actually tell you for sure what's going to take it to the next level. So when we're addressing this fear, I really think what you do is you make small changes and you pay attention to how it affects the business. Yep. So you basically, we call build, measure, and learn. For all of those of you that are familiar with like the lean startup movement, all that, it's basically build the test. So build what we think it would take to change, right? Make the small change, measure it, and then learn from it, right? And this is like a repeatable cycle. So let's say we decide to, I'm just going to use the obvious example here. Let's say you decide to go to the next level. You need to implement a technology tool like SilverTrack, launch it at a property, measure the impact, learn from it, and then repeat, launch the next test. And that will help you overcome not knowing where to start, because you're never fully invested in something until you know how it's impacted your business, right? Maybe you're saying, hey, I should hire a business development manager. That's what we would need to go to the next level. Well, hire someone on a 6-month interim basis, measure how they impact your business, not only financially, but how are they impacting the company culture, how are they impacting your security officers, the management, all of that. How are they impacting the big picture? And then learn from it, make an adjustment, and then go back. So run through this cycle. That allows you to kind of give yourself some slack, knowing I won't know the right answer, and it kind of gets you out of that, like, I'm frozen and I'm standing still. Like, I don't know where to go next. I'm just kind of standing still, right? You got to be moving in order to learn.
Yeah, the problem is, Johnny, the security business, we're always putting out fires, and the listeners will agree with me on this one. We're always putting out a fire, whether it's a guard issue, a client issue. We're not selling widgets, right? We're selling a service, and we have people, and we have the industry. It took a long time for everybody to start building respect for us in the security industry, right? Very, very difficult. The wage is low. The profit from the client isn't the highest, so that alone makes it very, very difficult. So if you're constantly putting out fires, it's hard to think about anything else about growing your business. You just want to maintain it, get it stabilized, and when you do, as I mentioned, you're exhausted. So, we came up with these tools, and we talk about SilverTrack and all that, and this is what I try to preach to these guys. Listen, I have the tools on a very basic level to put out the fires that you're put out the fires and the problems you're having now. This is the most common thing that stops you from growing your business, and that's what I really stress to them, is that we can go to the very basic, get the basic cleanup, so you can advance.
Yeah. I like that you wrap that up. Like, everyone has to deal with the fires.
Yep, a lot of fires.
So to use that as the excuse of why not to grow or not to reach your goals, it's not a valid excuse, because everyone has to deal with it. And so you've got to figure out a way. Can you put those to bay? How can you what's the solution you're going to put in place so that you can focus on growing your business? Because I'll tell you this, no one else is going to lay up at night caring about growing your business.
Right. John, let me share if I don't mean to interrupt you. Let me share a real quick example. Okay, so patrol accounts, right? Right now, everybody's out selling patrol accounts. Everybody's promising 3 to 10 hits a night, ridiculous numbers, right? Clients that are brand new don't really get it, but they know that that's not a number that everybody's going to produce, so they just go off the budget. So if you're out and you think you're doing a good patrol job, how do you really know that? Unless you sit in the car with all your different team members that are out there driving, hitting these accounts, how do you really know that you're doing a good job? Is it really based on the paperwork and the written content that the guys are submitting to you, and you think because they're writing it and they're writing good paper that the client's satisfied? No. The clients could be sit there evaluating you see how many times you even show up in the property. You don't know that. So you have to start with a tool that you can give to everybody so you can get an overview of your business by the minute. You have to do that. It's what we have to do today. Their tools are out there, and the clients know the tools are there. So you have to focus on that. That's just the beginning,
Well, SilverTrack Nation, we're going to take a quick break and mention our sponsors over at Paperless Proposal. And today I'd love to share with you a little bit about their content library and the amazing time-saving tool that it can be. One of the biggest time wasters in creating business proposals is how to manage and organize the many different files and content that you would want to include in your proposals. According to IDC, 56% of the time spent creating a business proposal is in just searching and gathering the content and documents that will go into the proposal. Paperless Proposal really has solved that problem with their secure online content library. With the content library, you'll have a centralized and secure document center where you can store all of your files and information that you and your team can use in creating your business proposals. So head over to paperlessproposal.com/silvertrack to take advantage of a special offer just for our listeners here at the Silvertrack Extra. Request a demo with their team and your company will be better for it. Well, let's jump right back in to our featured conversation. Another common fear that we see popping up is just the fear of being considered crazy or of trying something new. So there's this, you could either go out, you have an option when you decide you want to grow your business, you could either go out and try the same thing that everyone else has tried, or rip a page out of someone else's book, say, hey, I like the way they're doing that, let me do that, right? Or you can take an honest look at your business and find out what's really best for us, not what's worked for them. And of course, take note of what other people are doing around, but make sure that you're doing something that is right for your business. And then if you do something that's a little bit off the wall or a little bit different, Chris, we talked earlier off the air that we've seen guys come in from other industries, so from outside the security industry, implement something that's a little bit different for the industry, and somehow they end up, the idea really actually works. Right, like it's something different, and it wasn't something that you would expect them to go about doing, or the normal way of solving that problem. But don't be afraid of doing something a little bit different, especially if we talk about just building, measuring, and learning through that experience. I think that it's worth looking at what's best for my business, not necessarily just ripping a page out of someone else's book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I told everybody, you have to be proactive. Quit being reactive. That's the problem. Everybody says, I'm comfortable. Well, I haven't lost any contracts yet. So they wait till they lose contracts, and then what do? They start calling us. Hey, well, how come we lost a contract? Well, somebody came in, they want a reporting tool. I didn't have it, so now I got to jump on it. I'm telling you, you have to be proactive. Just think ahead. That's a great number. Just be proactive. Think ahead. Look what your people are doing out there. Join organizations. Learn from other people that are out there. You can see what's going on. Just stay in the loop.
Yeah. The last fear that I think, and you just touched on it a little bit, is the fear of not attracting new customers. And so this idea that, hey, we've got a solid base right now. I've made it through the startup phase. I'm in cruise control, right? Nothing is too bad. I handle my fires on a day-to-day basis, but I'm not losing customers left and right. I've got this thing pretty dialed in. The fear of going to the next level or bringing someone on is like, I don't know that I can really attract new customers, or what will I do to get more customers other than just operate on the good old boy system. I've been in the area for a long time. I think if you, and this is like something that I always go back to, even for us at Silvertrack, is you will be just as big as the company as, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You'll be as big of a company as you act, right? So if we act like we're a bigger company than we are, one day we'll be a bigger company than we are today, right? So not just saying like, well, we just have 50 officers, so it doesn't really matter how we do our quarterly reviews, right? Because I know all of our customers. I talk to them on a regular basis. Sometimes I see them at the grocery store. It's not a big deal. I don't need to go through a formal quarterly review. Well, when you had 250 officers, you would be doing that quarterly review, right? So why not start putting those type of practices in place now? Because you build like the structure that will sustain that type of growth. Otherwise, there's nothing to build on. If you're just acting as big as you are right now, you'll never be bigger than you are today.
Yep. And if you're going to go start attracting customers, every company has a vertical that they work that they're very good in. Like mine was the multi-housing industry. That was my strong suit, right? That and commercial. Did I go out for a lot of hospitals? Did I go out with for a lot of industrial contracts? No. I didn't go out for a lot of those because I did. Honestly, I didn't. I was afraid. I didn't go into my. I was afraid of getting out of my comfort zone. Right now, I did get a few of those contracts, but today I wish I would have just said, you know what? I did the multi-housing so great. How do I jump over here and make this better? You know, because there's so much business out there, John. Right? The different verticals out there: hospitals, industrial schools. The list goes on when it comes to security. So, you know, establish your ground and don't be afraid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up episode number 70 now, but we have a detailed article on how to overcome the fear of growing your business over at silvertracksoftware.com/70. You can visit the show notes there, get all of that, and you can also subscribe to our weekly roundup where we'll send all of our newest content, all of our best content to your inbox once a week with free resources, all of that good stuff. Be sure to subscribe to that and don't miss out on all of our new content. We also have a couple of ebooks at our new resource center. You can visit that at silvertracksoftware.com/resources. Tons of good stuff over there as well. Chris, anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, I think we beat that to death.
All right. Well, until next time, my name's Johnny.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
This was the Silver Track Extra, and we'll talk to you soon.